The mountain peak stood tall, hidden beneath a shroud of mist. Kofi, his body battered and breath labored, clung to the jagged rocks, contemplating surrender. Every muscle in his body screamed for rest. Yet, in the distance, the wise old traveler, Baba Mensa, watched with knowing eyes. "One more step, Kofi," he whispered. "The last step is always the hardest, but it is the step that changes everything." With a deep breath, Kofi lifted his foot. The moment it landed, the mist cleared, unveiling the breathtaking peak he had fought so hard to reach. He had done it. The journey that had drained him, filled him with doubts, had finally led to triumph. But how had Kofi gotten here? And why had everyone doubted him? Kofi had always been a dreamer in the small village of Nyamkai. While others accepted their fate, he believed in possibilities. The villagers, including his own father, called him foolish. A farmer's son should till the land, not chase illusions of greatness, his father scoffed. Yet, Kofi was determined. He had heard of the Great Summit, a peak so high that those who conquered it returned with wisdom and blessings beyond measure. Few had ever reached it. Many had tried, but fear and exhaustion had turned them back. One evening, as he prepared for his journey, his best friend, Kwame, tried to dissuade him. "Kofi, why do you push yourself? What if you fail? And what if I succeed?" Kofi countered, his eyes shining with conviction. Armed with little but his will, Kofi set out, unaware of the trials ahead. The path to the summit was ruthless. Sharp winds howled, food ran scarce, and loneliness crept in. As the days passed, Kofi encountered travelers who had given up. "Turn back while you still can," one said. "The summit is a lie." Doubt seeped into his mind. Were they right? Was he chasing a dream that didn't exist? Then he met Baba Mensa, a traveler who had conquered the summit before. "The summit is real," Baba Mensa assured him, "but it tests those who seek it. The last step will feel impossible, but that is when you must push the hardest." With renewed resolve, Kofi climbed higher. But just before the peak, exhaustion overtook him. He fell to his knees, his body trembling. Fear whispered that he had failed. And then, Baba Mensa's words echoed. "The last step is always the hardest." Kofi clenched his fists. He had come too far to give up now. With a final surge of strength, he took the last step. And there he stood, above the clouds, above doubt, above fear. The village below looked tiny, and suddenly he understood. It was never about the summit. It was about the journey, about believing in himself when no one else did. When Kofi returned, the villagers looked at him in awe. He was no longer just a farmer's son. He was proof that perseverance conquers all. His father, once skeptical, placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "You were right, my son. The power of the last step is real." Kofi smiled. "It always is." Moral of the story: success is often just one step beyond failure. The last step may be the hardest, but it is the one that defines you. Never give up.